And I will have that as my refrain from here on in. It's a great day, always is. I want to welcome all of you, whether you're listening on your radio, you're watching on your TV, or on your smartphone. You're on your phone that's not so smart. You're on the app. When they say once on the app, which app them at, Nora? Yeah. It's always a pleasure to be here in your service. I see Membami in the chat saying, "Good morning. I want to shout out the mental health bus crisis hotline. I requested help for a member of my community who was off his meds and aggressive, and they came the following day." Very good, Membami, and very good on the responders, the mental health personnel who responded to you shortly after you called, the day after, to help that community member who was off his meds and, as you say, aggressive. Very good. That's the standard we expect. We know that the environment is challenging, but we acknowledge those who make the extra effort. Nora, Nora, there's a message in the chat says, "YouTubers, please acknowledge the presence of Mr. Glaister Hall." Hey, I tell you, some people special. Some people special. And I've come this morning in the opening segment, listeners, viewers, audience, to speak directly to Glaister Hall and his people. Because what has happened overnight, imagine, we've been here since Cooper's Pen became a hot matter. Morning, Harold Brady. Since Cooper's Pen became a hot matter last week, Tuesday, I've spent time with you, 4%ers, audience, family members, friends, talking about the issue from various perspectives, making my own views known about how I see this issue of captured land from all parts of the spectrum. And you have heard me morning after morning, empathize, sympathize with the people of Cooper's Pen in Trelawney. And anybody who will say, "Well, George, no, you have never empathized with the people of Cooper's Pen," or "You have never consistently empathized with the people of Cooper's Pen. You've never expressed sympathy for the people of Cooper's Pen," write it in the chat or send me a message if you have my number and tell me that I'm lying. If you acknowledge that what I've said is the truth, that I've come here since Cooper's Pen became a hot matter every morning and empathized and sympathized, say nothing. And why am I going there this morning? Overnight, there has emerged at least two videos. Well, one a post, one an image with a graphic, and another one a post, clipping the part of the program yesterday where, after I gave the historical context of land settlement in land squatting in Jamaica, and referencing the late Professor Carl Stone, and saying to you that if we used Carl Stone's research as the reference point forward, the benchmark forward, and what he said about the 20% of Jamaicans who live on captured land, and looking at the historical context, the number of people, and I went into the number of people who have captured land out of necessity because of they work in close proximity to land that is unoccupied and they have no accommodation when they finish work, and how they use the opportunity and they build something on the land and they make something of themselves and they contribute to society. And I was saying that and asking those of you who continue to say that you don't sorry for the people in Cooper's Pen to know you can't harden your heart. Have I not said that every morning? Not a couple mornings, not a few mornings. Every morning since Cooper's pen has been an issue. Since it came into the news last Tuesday. Every morning without fail. I've said that, including yesterday morning. So, can you tell me why people, including some of little intellect, mental midgets, prostitutes for attention, would clip the segment of the program where I was saying to Nora about Kukudu? So, boy, if Kukudu were here, he would have remixed King David to say, see people and leave it alone. Clip that and said that look at OD, and by the way, you got that wrong, it's CD. Thank you. Look at so-and-so laughing at people in Cooper's pen. That's what has been clipped and put in the videos and the posts. And obviously, I'm not going to respond to certain people because real people respect me. Irrelevant people want beef because they know that's the only way we are ever going to speak. But I was compelled to respond because of two things. One, an elected representative posted a graphic saying just that look at so-and-so laughing at the people of Cooper's pen. It was as specific as that. She posted that, the MP for South St. James, Miss Burchell, posted that. And I said, well, of course, Miss Burchell deserves a response because she's an elected representative, so I can respond to her. That's no problem. She's worthy of the response. The others looking for attention, I'm sorry, no. And I was even, in two minds about that because I'm saying, but it's a matter of record what you've said about Cooper's pen and how you've asked people to empathize morning after morning. Even when the people call in during the calling segments and say, boy, I'm not sorry for them, you've said, no, you can't look at it like that. And go into detail as to why it is not the best use of the qualities bestowed upon us as human beings to look at the plight of other human beings and come away with a hard heart hardened against their plight. It's not a good thing to do. I've done that consistently. But even so, I was saying, leave Miss Burchell's comments alone because, maybe someone gave her bad information because she doesn't listen to this program or programs on this station, so she wouldn't know. So I was saying, all right, Miss Burchell, you were given bad information and you made a post that was misleading, but it's all right, and leave it alone. But then, driving in, very good friend of mine, educator from Trelawney, who revealed to me that he himself grew up on captured land when his father mashed up the family and kicked him and his mother and his siblings out of the house, and they had to find somewhere to go. And that's where she ended up, and she raised them well, and he is a credit to this country. This high school teacher, football coach, a fine man from Trelawney. Uses initials as DJ. Fine man. And he said someone sent the clip to him, inviting him to condemn me for those views, just on the strength of the clip alone. And he was saying to himself, boy, no man, I have to call Judge and tell him, boy, this is wrong. But then he said to himself that, boy, no man, the man I know is not this kind of man. So he sent it to me and I said, Regin, somebody sent me this, how this go? I want to see the full thing. He said, I want to see the full thing because I'm not going to believe what this clip is suggesting your attitude to the Cooper's Pen people is. And I explained to him and he said, oh, thank God. Because I know, said, no, sir, you. And he understood exactly what I was doing and what I did. And he said, fine, everything is all right. But you see how people stay. You see how people stay. And people like Glaister Hall, who are here every day, he would even tell them, say, nah, man, that wasn't in reference to Cooper's Pen specifically. And even so, the man they counterbalance that with a whole heap of time spent asking people, entreating people to be empathetic and sympathetic towards people like those in Cooper's Pen, and especially, specifically, the Cooper's Pen people. You'd have thought that he would have done that, but he didn't do that. This is why you have to talk for yourself. There's this old adage that don't toot your own horn. Don't. You have to, especially in these days, because man are going to manufacture horn, and they're going to create sounds and say this is the sound from you, and tell people that this is the sound that you have crafted. So if you're not making your own sound, how will people know? And as I said, had DJ not said to me that, boy, he felt away preliminarily, but then he was saying to himself, no man, I don't judge that. So when a good man like that is invited to hate me because of the lies and the trickery, then I have to straighten it out. And as I said, as I've said before, thank God for the army of the 4%ers, because with you I don't need no more army. No. And I know the army of haters is big, but the army of people who understand and who appreciate and who love and respect is bigger. And I know this. So it doesn't really bother me what they say in their lie-infested dens of underachievement and misery and muck, where they lie and sit cheek by jowl with agents of destruction and misery and darkness, believing if we lie consistently, if we demonize people with zeal, if we continue to do these things, one day the country will fall under our spell and we will be in charge. That has to be the ultimate aim. This commitment to lying, this steadfastness where demonizing people is concerned, where you listen to somebody, almost you set your tape and you say, please God, make him say something, or we can clip and by itself send it out and make people hear it and hate him. Please God, make him cough out a turn. Make him mix up in prepositions. Please God, give us one. Just give us one. That's what they do every day. And I'm unperturbed in real terms because you are here with me every day and you hear what I have been saying about Cooper's Pen. You can bear me out. But boy, sometimes, So were it not for Miss Burchell, an elected representative who's worthy of a response, and my friend DJ, thoroughly decent gentleman, who was troubled. You see, this is the danger of the misinformation and the lies, which is why sometimes I respond, because you don't want well-thinking people who have other things to do. They don't listen and follow and consume as much as they should of what the 4%ers produce. They hear things and they see things and they say, well, no, man. And they get the wrong impression and they turn away from you. You don't want to lose good people. And DJ is a good man. And if we never make a strong impression on him in the time that we've worked together on other projects, he wouldn't even have messaged me. He would just write me off behind my back. I'll see him somewhere and heal him and him cold towards me or him snub me. Because I laughed at the people in Cooper's Pen. Can you imagine that? You all sat and whatever you were doing yesterday and heard me speak. You never heard me say, Nora, the Cooper's Pen people, is that pity Kukudu never there for remix the song for them. I never said that. But guess what? At the CD, I mad them. Break time. Have some views that we accommodate them in this chat, And I always tell you that, where profanity is not used and everything, I have no problem with someone expressing certain views. But I have to consider strongly if some of you who revel in the lies being told to destroy people and revel in the hatred, if you really should be among us. Now, here who am I now? Man, words come back to haunt him. Which words? Which words come back to haunt you? Well, all right, who am I? Before you go, when the lady did say in a Game of Thrones to when she was talking to Jamie Lannister, and she was referring to the poisoning of King Joffrey, and they thought that Tyrion did it. And the woman said, "Tell Cersei that I did it." Who am I? When you can't post in the chat again, just know I did it. Have a good time. Yeah. As you know, say in a phone on neck of the woods, brawling. I can't support people who support the destruction of people's reputations on lies. You're gonna say to me, man, words come back for you. Which words? You make it seem as if I had said those things and then catch me, I say it, and no, boy, me I struggle and I fight. Eh? So, oh, I found him now. Let me do this thing now. There you go. Yeah. Goodbye to you. JTA business now. So it's official. LaSonia Harrison is back as JTA president. And one wonders what will this term in office be in terms of her interaction with the government. LaSonia Harrison has made no secret of the fact that she's not a fan of this government. But could I put it a different way and say she's not a fan of the ruling party in charge of government? I think that's more accurate. And that's fine. That's fair. She can be that. Nothing wrong with that in real terms. Where the problem lies is when you take decisions that are consistent with someone wanting to make the life of the government difficult unnecessarily. So you block and you obstruct and you fight. And people trumpet justice and access to the courts. And we should preserve access to the courts for everyone. But how ridiculous it is for a woman who organized an event, got an outcome from the event, and then sued same organization, citing flaws in the organizing of the event and the reason for the organizing of the event in the first place, when you were the architect of the organization. It's enough to confuse someone. And back now, and quite predictably, wage offer rejected, and we know the playbook. Teachers can't guarantee normalcy for the start of the school year, and LaSonia Harrison's head may be tied with a special piece of cloth. She perhaps will lead a public demonstration somewhere. Teachers are suffering, the government is wicked and uncaring, and they will not go to the classroom, the teachers, until they get this and that and whatever. That's what is likely to happen from here on. And then what? Getting your pound of flesh. LaSonia Harrison, based on my information, taught history at high school. From all accounts, a very good teacher. She was. But sometimes the infection of partisan politics is such that the same country that people say they are putting first is nowhere on the radar when they take action, standing up for their rights as they see it, and asserting their freedom to disagree, to object, or to protest. And nobody I've listened to is upset that Lasonia Harrison seems to be anti-JLP administration. Because sensibly that can be a problem. That can be something that causes you to have a problem with somebody. Would have a problem with almost half of the country. Either way, anti-JLP or anti-PNP. Yeah? That's never an issue. It's just the extent to which you go to spite, to undermine. And someone needs to whisper to her and say, principal, leader, president, you have to strike a balance between damaging the country and advancing a political cause which nobody mandated you to advance. The only good thing from the Lasonia Harrison second tilt, well, not tilt, because the tilt would have been in the election. She is the president. Second stint now as president. The only thing that's good is that she's a known quantity. When she speaks, reasonable people will know where she's coming from and can associate her comments and her actions with the appropriate motive. So her being a known or she being a known quantity is good, because you're not left to wonder, say, hold on, what is this lady about? So it's going to be a year of turmoil, obstruction. You're going to hear that the teachers are suffering because, it's going to be cast like every other group in the country is thriving. Everybody else is not feeling the same inflation, not living in the same economy. The teachers are in a worse place than everybody else. And Lasonia Harrison has been mandated to try again to make the life of the Education Ministry and the Finance Ministry and government in general as difficult as possible. That should not be the mandate of a JTA president, in my view. Break time. After the break, your calls.